The Federal Reserve is making a decision on interest rates today, and it comes as current Fed Chair Jerome Powell's term is nearing an end. Joining us now, Chase Wilsey from Wilsey Asset Management with the very latest. Good morning, and thank you for being here.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
What do you expect to happen today?
Not much. It's pretty much a foregone conclusion at this point that there'll be no rate changes at this meeting. The Fed is essentially going to be on hold, I think, for the time being. So the big thing that's going to happen is what happens in the commentary after the announcement from Fed Chair Powell.
All right, the decision that is made or not made, whatever it is, will impact, obviously, the markets. So what do you think will happen there?
Yeah, that's always a tough one. I mean, the big thing is we're kind of now looking at a Fed. Again, they're not going to cut today. I think it's like a 99% chance, 98% chance that there is no cut today. So that's pretty much baked in. I mean, if they did cut, that obviously sent the markets higher, but that's probably not going to happen. Again, it's going to revolve around Fed Chair Powell's commentary. If he comes in maybe more dovish than anticipated, or he's leaning towards maybe cutting rates faster than people expected, that would generally be good for the stock market. On the other hand, if he's more hawkish or saying, yeah, we're not going to cut rates for many months to come, that would send stocks the other way, and that would be a negative for the stock market.
The president says he is close to naming a new chairman. For those who may not be into all the nuances of that, what exactly does that position do?
Yeah, I don't want to take anything away from the Fed chair. It is still a very, very important role, but I think a lot of kind of power is assumed by this Fed chair from the general public, and a lot of people need to realize that there's 19 members on the Federal Reserve. There's 7 governors, and there's 12 Federal Reserve regional presidents. Only 12 of them vote at the meetings, though. So all 7 governors vote at every meeting, and then there's one governor from New York that he's a permanent voter as well, and then the remaining 11 regional bank presidents, they rotate. So there's 4 of them that will vote at the meeting, 1 from New York, and then again 7 board governors. So again, the Fed chair, he gets 1 vote. So he can't run a dictatorship and say, we're cutting rates, I don't care what anybody else says. There has to be a majority of 7 members that say, yes, we're cutting rates, or yes, we're raising rates. So again, there's a lot more kind of power that's assumed that's given to the Fed chair, but in reality, there is a good balance of power there that occurs when the Federal Reserve votes on cutting or raising interest rates.
It's all just complicated, Chase. This one can vote, that one can't vote, but you say it's all done to have a balance of power. So let's talk about that. With the president picking somebody new, what is he in particular looking for? Because I would assume it's somebody that's going to be in line with what he wants done. Yeah,
so the president does want lower rates. So he is looking at potential candidates, and really it's come down to, it appears, to Kevin Warsh and then a gentleman by Rick Rader. He is the current head of fixed income at BlackRock. He wants somebody that's going to push for lower rates. And the job of the Fed chair is really to kind of lead the conversation at those meetings. My thing is, I don't think you have, all these members are saying, I don't think we should cut rates, I don't think we should cut rates. I don't think somebody coming in that's new saying we should cut rates is going to be enough to really push, again, 7 members to now go along with him in cutting rates. So I think he'll have a tough task ahead. But again, that's the job of the Fed chair, is to try and push the conversation the direction that he thinks it should go.
All right, fast forward. We're still in January. You sat down here like the year is going by so fast,
right?
But we're still in the first month. So what do you think will happen in the coming months when it comes to interest rates?
I really think we're going to see not much movement. I really think we're looking at 1, maybe 2 rate cuts at December. In the December meeting, the Fed projected out just 1 rate cut for the year. The market right now has 2 priced in. I'd be shocked if we got more than 2 rate cuts come December 31st. That puts us at a rate around 3%. There's something called the R-star, which is the neutral rate that's not really accommodative, but also not restrictive in the economy. My viewpoint is I think 3% is a fair rate for interest rates, so I'd be surprised if we pushed much lower than that.
We will see if you are right. Chase, thank you for being here.